Hi everybody, Nicole Hed here with the Hed Catering Company, coming to you from DeGrood's Appliance. Today we're making Bavarian pretzels with a beer cheese dip. Okay, we're gonna start with our first step of making our pretzels. We're gonna scald our milk on the stove top here. Make sure that you're using a thermometer. We're using the big green egg today. And temp your milk. You don't want it too hot. We want it to be about 110, 120 degrees. Too hot and it's going to kill your yeast. Too cold, it's not gonna get the party started. Okay, we're gonna take our milk and just put it into a bowl. That'll reduce the heat just a little bit as well. Sprinkle some sugar on the top. You gotta give your yeast something to eat and feed off of. And then put your yeast on the top of your sugar. Let this hang out for 10 minutes. If it starts to bubble and you start to smell it, that means you've done it right. Yeast has bloomed and we're ready to start making our dough. We're gonna add in some butter. Butter is flavor, and fat, and a little bit of salt. Okay, and then we're gonna start with about half of our flour and then mix it in, and we can always add more. You can't take away what you've already put in.
Is there anything else on there that we need to order? The mount?
Your hands are your best tools. Just kind of dig them in there, break that butter up.
Yeah, as long as we don't.
Of course, remember to wash your hands. Okay, this is still too wet, so I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna add more flour. Anytime you're making dough, it's all about the feel. Okay, when it starts to come together, you know you've got a good dough, and then you can work on your surface instead of in the bowl. We don't want to over mix it. That's how you get a tough dough. You can see it starting to change there. It's starting to pull away from the sides of the bowl. Just using my fingers to scrape down. It's still a little too wet for me. I might end up using it all, and that's okay. So for me, this is good. I'm going to dump it out and continue working on my surface. You really don't want to add any more flour than you have to. It should be a wet, sticky dough, not to the point where your hands look like this, but we don't want to add more than we have to. I'm just going to knead it, and to knead, you're just going to fold it in half and use your palms to push. Really just, I'm gonna do a light knead, maybe 1 to 3 minutes, just to get it together. It should be nice and glossy. But again, we don't want to work it too much. Actually, just based on feel, okay, it should leave a finger indent here. Tells me it's good. So I'm gonna grab a bowl that is oiled. Okay, and just rub my dough in there a little bit. Saran wrap it, put it in a warm place for an hour. In the meantime, while our dough is proofing, we're gonna start on our beer cheese sauce. This is a great dip for pretzels, but it also could be a base to a soup as well. So we're gonna start with making a roux. This is gonna be our thickening agent. So I took equal parts of butter and flour, and I'm just gonna whisk that up. There are different levels of a roux. The longer it sits, the darker it'll get, and it'll start to smell nutty. Just remember to keep on stirring. This will burn really fast if you just let it hang out. So, really good job for the kids if you need to keep them busy. I'm just whisking my beer and milk mixture in the pot here to break up those flour clumps. And then I'm gonna add in my flavorings. Today I'm using some Worcestershire sauce and some grainy Dijon mustard. Just add that in. Mustard and beer go really well together, especially when we're dealing with pretzels here. Okay, then we're gonna add in our cheese. This is where she's gonna get really, really thick. Today I'm using a sharp cheddar cheese. It's best if you could grate it yourself, but who's got time for that these days? All I'm gonna do is keep whisking this, and you'll see that my cheese is already starting to melt. Season it with some salt and pepper, and let it hang out. If it gets too thick for you, go ahead and add some more beer. Okay? If I were turning this into a soup, I just add some stock and thin it out a little bit. Throw some brats in there. I bet that would be good. Your pretzel dough rolled out into a pretty even, maybe 20-ish inches long log. To do a traditional style Bavarian pretzel, make a horseshoe, okay? Cross your ends, cross them again, and twist up. Okay, you see how it looks nice there? Sometimes I just take a little dab in that baking soda mixture and just tuck those bottoms in. Okay, here comes the hard part. Okay, what you want to do is get your baking mat all ready. You could use a silicone baking mat, or you could spray profusely a baking sheet so they don't stick. And lightly, very gently, place your pretzel in that baking soda mixture. Okay, it's just a quick little bath, but again, that really helps develop that crume or that hard crust. Place it on your baking mat. We're just gonna keep rolling out the rest of our dough and pop it in a preheated 450-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, we're just gonna take our pretzels out, and we've got one final step. I'm gonna hop over here. I'm just gonna top my pretzels with some melted butter. A little butter never hurt anybody. I even made some pretzel bites over here. Don't forget about those. And today I'm using Noble Whiskey Barrel smoked flaked finishing salt. You can use any kind of salt that you have at home. The bigger the grain, the little bit better. They sell this right here at DeGrood. It's amazing. We're all done here with our Bavarian pretzels and our beer cheese dip. You can find the recipe on shopdegroods.com. In the description box below if you're watching on YouTube or the Hed Catering Company. Thanks.